So today, guys, we're gonna use some of the data mines found by Zabi. I will leave the link in the description for for you to help him out. And with these data mines, we can kind of find stuff that were not in the changelog, stuff that we didn't notice. So thank you, Zabi, for doing it. The first one is that aircraft like the Rafale, the Su-30SM, the flankers in general, MiG-29s, Yak 141, and even the Tornado, they have the roll stabilization of the radar buffed, just like the Eurofighter. So, for example, the Rafale, I think, is the only one that it's 180 degrees. The others will be 120. But still, look at this. For example, we are detecting these in front of us. If I do a complete roll, it will maintain the position in the airspace that it's detecting with the radar. So this was something that was added for the Eurofighters, and now it is added for all these aircraft. So pretty good, a pretty good buff. We kind of already knew that the Rafale, for example, and the Su-30 got buffs, but the F-15s, in general, all of them, the F-16D and C, actually got, if I'm not mistaken, a buff as well. So they say it is overall increase in the pitch multipliers for the vehicle. It means that it will be able to pitch a little bit more. The changes are very slim, okay, but yeah, you will be able to pitch a little bit more. F-15s, F-16s, in these terms of the D model and C model, and then all the F-15s, okay? And the buff that we talked about on the F-14s is basically an overall increase in the controllability of the vehicle in higher altitudes. So I didn't know exactly what it was. I talked about this in another video, but now we know. So it's basically a buff to the F-14 when it's in the higher altitude. Another thing is that for the AGM-179s, we need to talk a little bit about it, guys, while we fly it. One thing that I need to reiterate about this is that this is more of an interpretation than anything else, okay? So it doesn't mean anything. But I found something interesting there where they basically added a hotbar, a text change. It's not now only just guidance mode, but it has actually the mode for the guidance on the side. So I don't know. I don't know if it's this is it, but it would be cool if it is. So I'm gonna give a suggestion if it is not, okay? So maybe we should have different modes for guidance and how the missile actually fires. So what I mean about that is that, for example, this missile, it is in real life a 3-seeker mode. It can do radar, laser, or TV. So maybe having this option for you to actually choose, maybe even before the actual launch only, I don't know, or something like that, would be very cool. So that you have to, you can use in different ways these missiles. Other things that can actually help would be, for example, the Vikir. The Vikir in real life, I don't know if you have to choose before you launch or something, but you can turn it on or off the proxy fuse to use that missile as an anti-air missile or as an anti-tank missile, right? It would be something that it's cool for us to actually have. Right now, it's not really realistic because that missile, for example, has, you know, all the modes in one. It just decides on its own, right? So I don't know. Something like that would be cool. I don't know if that would be realistic or not. There's a text there that say that. It doesn't mean that it's for this, but it would be cool if it was, right? So hopefully Gaijins add something like this in the future. And then talking about the AGM again, another thing is that, for example, guys, there is an AGM-179 with a semi-active laser homing in the files, and that's why I kind of told you guys about that, right? Imagine instead of having two different missiles, in missiles like this, you can have two different modes in the missile itself, since it's the same missile, right? It would be cool. So it is in the files, the semi-active laser one. Let's see what they do with it. There are some other like radar texts basically showing what the type of radar it is, kind of. So for example here, the Rafale, if you go to the X-ray and click on it or pause the mouse over it, it will say air search and then look down, head down, all aspects, look up. So it's divided there on the air search, all the modes that it has. And then surface search, and then telling that it's GMTI, right? So this type of thing is really helpful because you can actually know what the radar actually does, depending on the situation. For example, here, you will have an air search, look down, head on, all aspect, and then surface search GMTI, for example. So if you go to a helicopter, like the Mi-28 over here, it will tell us that it has an air search, and then surface search with GTM, which is the normal search mode of ground, and GMTI, right? So it just tells us what are the differences, and it's a little bit more organized, right? So pretty cool to have this. It's a small thing, but yeah, and even sea radars. So for example, let me show on the new Mosquito here that has naval radar. You will see that surface search, it's sea. So it has a sea search. It will not be able to detect tanks or anything. So very cool. Another thing is this, guys, is that Olivia actually had an interesting comment on this leak that we had yesterday from her that has basically like infantry and stuff like that, right? So it's basically going to be a separated mode. Tank missions are called AVG, air versus ground. Naval is AVN, air versus naval. And these are HVG, human versus ground. So apparently this is supposed for a new mode or a test or something that they're gonna do. Feels like FPS stuff, but I don't know. I just don't believe in it. I don't believe that we will have this in War Thunder. So I will only believe in it when I actually see it. It is a leak coming from a very reliable source, but it's so out there that I don't know. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, because it's kind of crazy. And the last couple of interesting things here that basically we need to show to you guys, because everything else we already showed, is basically some of the information about some of the missiles. So the SRAM, for example, now has way less drag, 1/3 of the drag coefficient, together with way less booster force. So it has 1/3 less of booster force as well, together with a longer burn time of 5.75 seconds and a guidance time of 6 seconds. That overall change make it up to have a max flight range of 6 kilometers. In real life, in real game, it will be basically like a 2.5 kilometer on a running away target. So yeah, much improved missile. It's just completely different. The Hunter F6 might actually have a new BR after a while, because of this new missile, because of how good it is. So yeah, very good missile, really good. Of course, remember we have the GR1, if I'm not mistaken. If you have it as well, rejoice because of the SRAM. And the KH-38s as well, they received the change that we already showed to you guys. The main changes over here include, for example, the addition of a guidance duration of 200 seconds instead of the 90 seconds. You can see it right there, which means a lot longer on the range, making it have 70 kilometers of range. So we already tested that. Probably I might do another video just focusing on all the trying to push to the max, if we can even go beyond that. But yeah, 70 kilometers is crazy. And the stat card shows internally there that he has like 6 Gs of turn, but the max G load is actually 10. So got kind of an improved situation there, and it will have kind of a less aggressive loft as well, right? So overall, just a buff to the KH-38. We already knew that buff, of course, but we didn't know exactly the files. And the last thing that I wanted to show to you guys is the AIM-7P, which is a missile that got buffed as well. So now we have around, I mean, it's gonna say it's max flight range over here and everything will be 50, and then launch range 100 kilometers. But at the end of the day, the max range on this thing will be right now 75 kilometers, okay? And then the baseline lock range is 50, which appears there. So a small improvement on the AIM-7P. I don't think it will have any type of different flight dynamics, just that the Seeker is a little bit better, okay? So basically this is it. I know, not too many things, but some interesting ones, okay? See you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see you.